And welcome everybody. Robert Aducci here with along with Timothy Brown and our special guest Greg Gorden.
Greg Gorden, yay!
And we are here to talk about all things Ulysses. So let's get moving. So this weekend is Ulysses Con Monthly.
All right.
We've been doing these cons, trying to get one weekend in a month to have some panels and play some games. And so this weekend is January 29th through 31st. There are still slots to sign up if you want to play games. Both the Dark Eye and Torg Eternity have a bunch of slots available. And Friday night we've got a panel at 5 o'clock Pacific time. It'll be Torg Eternity Orrorsh panel. People will have questions about crowdfunding as well as Orrorsh. So definitely check that out tomorrow, Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
That's on warhorn.net, right? Where can people find the link?
That's where people can sign up, on Warhorn. Yep, I will paste it in the chat right now, and you can find it on the website, of course, as well.
All right. Speaking of the website, we've got a brand new website. If you haven't gone by to see the site, check it out. It's totally updated. But, of course, with anything that's brand new like that, we suspect there are a few glitches here and there. So if you can go check it out, see what you like, what you don't like about it. If you have any comments, especially anything that seems a little broken or odd, you can let us know in Discord if you find anything that's kind of amiss. And as part of the new website launch, we have the brand new shop, and it's called the F Shop. If you're one of our German fans, you know that they very successfully have a web shop called the F Shop for our German fans. And now we have that for the English language site as well. So we're very proud of that. Definitely check out the F Shop, and with the rest of the site, if you see anything that's a little odd or something, definitely let us know in Discord.
Definitely. Moving on to Aventuria, the pallets have arrived at Studio 2, and so we're getting copies of all of the expansions that are going to be in the Extraordinary Heroes crowdfunding next month. Those are all sent out to reviewers, and we're hoping to get some favorable reviews. If you are a board game reviewer and you got a good following and you'd like to review some of those products, go ahead and shoot me an email at contact@ulyssespila.com, and we'll get some out to you.
Awesome. In the same universe, of course, as the Dark Eye. With the Dark Eye, we've got the Gods of Aventuria is the next thing, and that, as far as we know, is still off to the printer. We don't have a big update on that just yet. We'll try and get some more information out to fans by our next broadcast next week, but everything's moving along there, and Tayo is very happy with the results he's got on some of those products. The Web DM plays the Dark Eye Adventures in Aventuria that just wrapped up, and you can watch all of the episodes on YouTube. So go check that out, Adventures in Aventuria. What's going on with Myth Dawn of Heroes?
So in the website update, we also released a new article detailing some adventures that will be included with the new Dawn of Heroes crowdfunding later this year. And we've created a Myth Dawn of Heroes page on the website where we show off the new logo. So if you want to catch the new logo, you can definitely see it there.
Awesome. Love the new logo. The role-playing side of the Myth universe, Myth Tales of Legend, the work on that is going along very well. We're revamping the Quick Start, The Lost Barrow, and it's now ready for print with a new cover image, logo, and layout. So check that out. I know behind the scenes that Ross and JM are working very hard on the first wave of products for Tales of Legend. And so far it's turning out really great. And right now we're digging into exactly which character archetypes and miniatures are going to be made as part of that particular offering. So watch this space as we move forward on Myth Tales of Legend.
Definitely. On to Fading Suns. So all the books are finished and they've been sent off to get printed. And so we're hoping that they'll be back here and people should have them by hopefully March or April this year. Bill's reporting that the Wave 2 of the books are written and nearly ready for a layout, and the Wave 3 books are in their beginning stages.
I know. I see all the contracts, so I know that's true.
Nice. Bill Bridges and Andrew Greenberg have their Heretical Musing Show, which is now the first and third Thursdays of the month. Last week, Andrew played the Noble Armada game and kind of showed it off. That was kind of fun. And so now that's now available on Xbox. So they've been re-releasing those,
Awesome.
which is cool. Tonight, JM and the crew of the Oh Boy are back. They're streaming every other Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And tonight, the crew of the Oh Boy arrives in Shaprut to save Jex's father, but getting involved in a guild war was never a safe option. So check it out and see what happens tonight.
Terrific. But all of that is prelude to what our guest has to talk about today. Greg is going to help us tell you everything that's going on with Torg Eternity. Yay! So what can you tell us about Tharkold right now?
Tharkold is shipping. I don't know where it is on the boat. I think you guys have that information.
I think there's a website where we can actually GPS it. And
I think what was it? Maritime Shipping, I think it is, or something like that. But yeah, you can search for the ship name, which is the Rio Grande Express, and it'll actually show you where it is. When I looked at it the other day, it was just coming out of the English Channel. So
yeah, it's on its way. That's pretty exciting because it's been the one that COVID decided to take out its wrath upon in the production. Yeah. So I'm so happy that it's gonna make it.
Good deal. Really do we have it? Do we have an ETA? An ETA on that?
Yeah. So the ETA into Charleston, which is where it lands in the U.S., is February 5th, and then into Knoxville, which is where our warehouse is February 21st. And so shortly thereafter, they will start going out to our North American fans.
Thanks for your patience, everybody. We're getting it going. Awesome.
Yeah. So, and for those of you that have been asked about the PDFs, once we get those and they start shipping out, that's when we kind of open up the gates to PDFs as well, and they'll be available on Drive-Thru-RPG. Now, let's talk about our new crowdfunding. Greg, what can you tell us about Orrorsh on Game on Tabletop?
So I've been genuinely excited by how Orrorsh has been received, simply because it's been a very anticipated COSM, but we also have had, like I said, we're in the middle of the pandemic and you never know for certain. And the reaction's been very positive, very warm. It was just good because we're in that final push to get everything through. So the creatives on the team are excited. So that's really helpful.
Awesome. So
just by the reaction. Also we've got the online convention this month, so I'll be running some Torg, which will have just a flavoring of Orrorsh added into the continuing storyline. So if you signed up for that, prepare to perhaps say a farewell to your character, because it's Orrorsh is our deadliest COSM. Even from the core book, you've seen things like the Law of Perseverance and stuff. So it's intentionally tough, but I think narratively it's pretty exciting. There's some the reveals that are starting to happen that lead us into year 2. So you can see what the Gauntman's starting to build up and how he's planning to take over the world. That's fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to handing that over to the fans and having them give us their feedback.
Nice. And what is Orrorsh exactly? Like what, give us the sort of the elevator pitch of Orrorsh.
Victorian horror masterminded by the only High Lord who has beaten his darkness device, the only High Lord with the upper hand on his darkness device. So it's almost perfectly handcrafted horror. The Gauntman touches literally everything in his COSM, which none of the other High Lords do, which is one of the reasons it's such a dreadful place, is that he can just, unilaterally tweak things to make them more entertaining for himself, which is never a good thing for the Storm Knights.
Definitely. That sounds fun. So talking specifically about the actual crowdfunding. So we smashed our first goal within 30 minutes on day 1. So that's awesome. And I want to say we're almost at 80,000. Let me double check right now, because we were pretty close earlier when I looked at it. We are $79,247. So
close.
We are real close to that next crowdfunding, or the next stretch goal. And the 80,000 stretch goal is a digital product called Orrorsh Tricks, which includes new opponents and detailing lesser known places around Orrorsh. Do you know any of those specific places that you can spoil, Greg?
Tease it, man. Tease it.
So that one's a little difficult because that's I can't do that right this second because I'm not sure what's going in the. We don't have the breakdown yet for the PDFs versus the core book.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll have that.
Rest assured, it will be exciting and terrifying.
Yeah. And some of the other stretch goals that we have already smashed through include the Orrorsh Zone map, the Gauntman bookmark, Core Earth Magic, which would be a PDF full of new details and examples of magic specific to Core Earth, the threat blips, both in PDF and physical copies, threat, and then the threat cards. And then the next, once we hit through that 80,000 stretch goal, the next one is going to be 90,000, and that will be a poster of the core art for the Orrorsh Sourcebook.
Awesome. So a new feature I know this year is there's an online game with yours truly, that is Greg Gorden himself. Greg, what can you tell us about that particular online game?
It'll be featuring what I'm calling the Bleed, which is a feature of Orrorsh that's unique to Orrorsh, where Orrorsh is haunted by the cosms it has killed. So,
aren't we all?
Yeah, I know. Me too. Interrupt my coffee every Thursday. So you'll be playing one of those settings, and you'll get a taste of what it's like to go through the Bleed. And I think that's the adventures we have with The Trifling Matter by Terry Sizemore and Brian Reeves actually informed my design thinking. They have a very interesting, Tracy Sizemore calls it deep empathy for horror. So it's a way of their narrative drives are more, the narrative hooks the players have are more than their dice rolls, more than just their characterization. They've got a number of handles they can tweak and pull outside of the game mechanics. And I think that's fun gaming stuff that gives them ways of reacting and makes it feel more like a story. And to me, that's critical for Orrorsh, because horror, the Orrorsh realm's the only one where the mechanics are stacked against you. So to have things that are not as dependent on the dice or the cards that you can still manipulate, to me, is critically important. So you feel that you're still, you've got a fighting chance because of how the universe works out. So you'll be getting a preview of some of that difference in that game.
Nice. And so that game is, usually for previous crowdfundings, we've kind of had an upper level where people get to play with you live, at Gen Con or Dragon Con or whatever. But this time, obviously, since we're, all still home with the pandemic, we wanted to do an online thing. And instead of making it a premium stretch goal, we've made it an add-on that any backer can add to their pledge. So once you pledge, you can add a $0 add-on to be included in this, because this is going to be a stream game. And so we're going to have 5 players. And yesterday we announced the first one. And today, right now, live on the show, we're going to announce the second player. Then at the end of week 1, we'll have another player. At the end of week 2, we'll have another player. And then at the end of the campaign, we will have the 5th and final player. So the first player yesterday we announced was Douglas Jessup. So congratulations, Douglas. And today the winner is Eric Kalkbrenner. So congratulations, Eric.
Congratulations, Eric.
Yay!
Yes. And again, to enter, you just need to be a backer of any level on Torg Eternity or Orrorsh and add the raffle entry, which is the $0 add-on, and you'll be included. You just have to make sure that you will be able to have access to Roll20 and to have video access to Discord.
So let me make sure I got this right. We've picked 2. Mm-hmm. The next one will be picked at the end of week 1, then another after that, and a final 5th player at the end of the whole campaign. When is that, by the way?
That's a good question. Let me see.
20 days from now.
I think the 16th is our last day.
Okay, sounds good.
February
Awesome.
16th. Yeah.
That's great. Well, congratulations to Douglas and Eric as our first two winners
Hey.
who are going to get to play that online game with Greg.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it. That should be fun.
Let's see. We got a question here. Dave Haynes asks, "Could we get a spoiler of a new Orrorsh perk? Do you have a favorite Orrorsh perk, Greg?"
I like the corruption perks simply because corruption is such a feature of Orrorsh. And they include things like the vampire and the werewolf, which are obviously horror trope staples, but how you can, I don't know, want to say convert your character via this perk, but it gives you, it's not just a package of abilities. It really is a curse. And that's been an interesting thing for the players because we like all these powers, but this curse thing's annoying. Yes.
Yes, that's
yes,
fun.
it is.
Nice. That sounds awesome. So let's show off some new art. So I recently saw the GM screen by Paolo Pugioni, and it is fantastic. So let's see here
Yes,
if I can make it. Oh, Tim is on top of the art. There we go.
I'm the art.
There you go. All right, so this is the overview. If you can see it there, I'll zoom in on it, but I wanted to show you the overview. It is just a great piece of art. And so here, let's zoom in a bit. So there's one side of it, and I'll kind of move around. I think it's just fantastic. I love the kind of goo with the skeletons in the back there.
Talk us through this, Greg. What's going on in this particular gruesome scene?
Well, you have our typical heroes are stuck in a place where nightmare trees are starting to grow. So they're going in to try to eliminate the nightmare trees. But that means they get into essentially where it's mangrove jungle that's haunted and inhabited by every horror imaginable. So it's a long trek to get to those trees.
Yeah, that's some nice art. I love it. It's got great it's got great feel.
What are these sort of like cobra dudes? They're the some of the Gospog?
Yes, we have. By the time you get to the 4th level Gospog in Orrorsh, even I had to blink, going, "Really? Are we gonna do that?" I think we are. They're insanely tough, and so we've got the Gospog, we've got the werewolf, we have some of the revenants. I think over on the other side is So we've got our turned. So you've got about 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like you got 5 different creatures of Orrorsh in that panel.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. I do like that. So it's basically just that the threats in Orrorsh are more numerous and a little more difficult to handle. I don't think we have a nightmare in this one. I don't recognize a nightmare anyway, but they're the ones where you can only kill them by discovering their true death. And so those are the ones that are really going to give players fits because they have 2 to 5 pieces of information you must uncover about these things. And they're personal to the type of monster they are. Once you discover that, you can kill them. And otherwise, you're just going to put them down for like an evening. And then it knows how you attack it. And so next time you go against it, those things are less likely to work. So nice. It really behooves you to do your research first. So that gets to all the tropes of, yes, you want to go to the old mansion's library and find out what books the Lord read before he turned into whatever it was. And so you can do all that stuff. And those sessions have been fun to run because that in itself is creepy as you just start layering on, well, he did what? Well, yes, because normally it's just normal to raise undead children in this manner. So it's like
nice.
So let's keep on moving on here. In the streams, so our last Ulysses Con monthly, we had some panels where we talked about Orrorsh and what's going on with year 2. So if you want to catch those, you can go back and watch those. The Horsemen are every other Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Twitch, followed up by YouTube. That game is GM by J.M. DeFogie and features Ross Watson, one of the Torg Eternity designers, as a player. You can catch all those on YouTube as well. Reality Raiders 3, which is our 80s action-packed Torg Eternity game in partnership with WebDM, recently wrapped up, so you can still find all those on the WebDM Plays YouTube channel. And we're announcing today that we're continuing our partnership with WebDM, and we're sponsoring a new short series in honor of the Orrorsh crowdfunding. So over the next 3 Sundays, we'll release actual plays directly from the Delphi Missions Orrorsh book, with Rudy Basso continuing as the GM. And as far as players, we'll have old favorites from the WebDM play shows, as well as a couple of new players. And so those will be for the next 3 Sundays at 5 p.m. Pacific. And I think I got a little bit of the art here for that. Oops, it got moved, but there we go. There we go. Even though it's, oh no, that is, 8 p.m. Pacific. That's the right time. Oh, sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, okay.
There you go. We'll have Grant Ellis will be a player, and he's also our producer. And then we've got Maria Pruitt from WebDM, Shauna, and GM Rudy. So excited to see those Orrorsh games. So,
all right.
Folks in the chat, do you guys have any questions for Greg about Orrorsh or about Torg Eternity or about his awesome beard or anything like that?
Yeah, I got outgamed by my girlfriend. She said, "Hey, I just want you to grow a beard while we watch a Netflix series together."
Uh-huh.
And then she's been unable to watch the last episode forever. So I was like, "Oh, loophole! You win."
Careful what you sign, man. Careful.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well played. I have to concede. I was outsmarted on that one. So she surrendered the final episode so that I'll keep my beard.
Nice. So what else? What are sort of the, obviously horror is a big theme in Orrorsh. What are sort of the kind of sub themes in Orrorsh? Sub themes.
I'm not sure we have that many sub themes. We have, I guess, though, you said we definitely have the war zones are split out by sort of genre of horror. So you can have, more slasher horror in the Southwest. You can have ghosts and hauntings in the Southeast. You have demonic possessions and stuff up in the Northwest. So you can sort of pick your flavor of horror movie and go to the war zone that has those sorts of things in it. And if you want to just go completely bonkers, you head into one of the pure zones where everything just, that's where you get to your mangrove swamp.
Right. Okay.
So, and so I'd say, so we basically have the sort of 4 subtypes of horror that you can play in the realm, but it's all more classic horror than, Tharkold is our splatterpunk.
Mm-hmm.
And Tharkold is, while bloody, Orrorsh is, while bloody, it's just creepier. Things just kind of sneak up on you, bit by bit by bit. And the ordinary gets twisted and bent a little bit in Orrorsh. And so it's hard to tell. Corruption pervades everything. So even the helpful people, through no fault of their own, just have little quirks that may turn out to be deadly. And so you're walking around in that environment where nothing is safe. It may not be lethally dangerous, but everything is a potential problem, and you have to just keep on your toes. So it's a game of heightened tension.
So tell me about so in Orrorsh with the horror, Torg. When I played Torg, I always feel like a not necessarily a superhero, but definitely a very heroic, action-packed cinematic character. So how do you kind of make that jive with Orrorsh, where it's, usually in horror stuff, people are kind of, outgunned by the bad guys. So how does that work in Orrorsh?
Yeah, that is one of the tricky balancing points, and you have to concede going into Orrorsh that your mechanical advantages aren't as great, but the contrast, as I was mentioning, are sort of some of the narrative choices you get to make, which aren't dependent on the dice rolls. They're just things you say, yeah, we're going to go do this. And that has an effect on the storyline that supersedes mechanics. So you will get to confront the evil in the manner of your choosing, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. So you can, sometimes the heroic is going to be more, we have the martyr card for a reason, but sometimes in Orrorsh, you just have to decide, okay, we're going to hold the line for as long as we can to accomplish this narrative goal, but some of us are going to fall. But we're going to win narratively because the horror narrative is everybody dies. It's all incredibly grim and bleak. Mm-hmm. And so every time you don't let the Gotman get to the horror and fear that he wants, you achieve some story victory. So those are the victories you're going to accumulate more in Orrorsh than you would in other realms. So I guess one way to put it is some of the equivalents of a glory result mechanically can just be driven by the story without rolling the glory, by the sacrifices and choices you make.
Nice. Let's see, we got a couple questions here. So Jihi asks, any updates on the novels, Tim?
Well, novels are definitely in the works. We're still trying to figure out the details of our overall publishing deal for everything that's going to come out as novels from all of our game lines. That includes Fading Suns and The Dark Eye and everything else. So as we're trying to wrap that up, I don't have a conclusion just at the moment to share with everybody, but it's definitely still in the works, and we hope to get a conclusion to that pretty soon. And we'll get the first couple of Torg novels out pretty quickly after we get that decision. So we'll let you know.
Nice.
And I can confirm that the first novel is a great read. That was so much fun. Interviewing him on that, because it really I think Torg is a hard one to write for, because you do have these heroic characters who can exceed sort of the boundaries of normal while supposedly existing in a near now Earth, and he played that off, I think, perfectly. So it feels like, yes, Torg characters do this, they would have problems doing this, and the scope of it feels right. The pace feels right. I was just like, wow, I was really impressed. That was like, that's some good stuff. So yes, I hope we get that out soon. I think fans will love that.
Right.
I'm really excited about where he's going with it too. So I want to feed that back into the campaign as soon as possible.
Nice. And you interviewed Richard Baker, the author of that book, at the Ulysses Con Online. And so you can find that interview on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Next question from the Maxis says, one of the graphics show a steampunk arm on one of the preview archetypes. Will this be a perk like cyber tech or occult tech that a Storm Knight can purchase? So I can answer that because we just posted Lehman Crafton just did his. So he's the writer, and he wrote that. Let's see, what was it called? I don't see the name of it. But basically, he just did a 30, as part of the 31-day character creation challenge that a lot of people are doing on Facebook and YouTube. He's participating in that, and so on his YouTube page, which is called Zorvalachon Less Than Guru, which I'll post a link here in a second. But he's participating in that, and we allowed him to stream his creation of that archetype. So you can go there and see literally how he's typing up everything about that archetype based on that image, which is which he asked for the details on that image. And so he just basically created that character and kind of walks through the reasonings on why he gave this ability or that ability. And to your specific question, that arm, I think he said it was basically just a piece of equipment rather than a perk. And so I will post that here, and you can check that out and see all of the details of that as Lehman goes through it. Let's see. Certified Torganic says, are we going to see some border clashes between Pan Pacifica and Orrorsh in this one?
In the Orrorsh source book, we're only going to hint at the start, because the expansion plans of the Gotman and Pan Pacifica do start to interfere with each other. You'll see more of the skirmish in the Pan Pacifica source book. But at this point, we're just trying to set, the Gotman has a lot of stuff planned. And so I think game masters are going to just digest, okay, we give a short summary of here's his entire plan for Core Earth. Here's what he's going to do. Here's how he's planning to essentially annihilate us. And everything else is window dressing that lets him do that. And so I think I want GMs to have a little while to think like, oh, wow. So, and then when the border skirmishes happen, they can see that filtering back through the lens of his plan. And so I want to focus on his plan and his unique relationship with his darkness device and just how hands-on he can be, in this one. So, yes, because of the events of Relics of Power, it's clear that there are going to be some border skirmishes. And then it will erupt into all-out war in War of the Century, which will occur in year 2. So,
nice. All right. Dave Haynes asks, what do the Orrorsh possibilities do?
Oh, I've actually forgotten. Because we had like 5. That's terrible. We had like 5 or 6 of them, and I've forgotten which one we settled on. So I'm just going to chalk that one up to fatigue. Sorry, I will get that. I will post that. I'll post that in Discord later today. But I just got, I'm on the 3-hour a night sleep regimen for the duration of the crowdfunding. So I'm just a tiny bit loopy.
Yeah, and that's always, as a game designer, you go through a lot of iterations, and you're like, I don't remember which rules we're playing with right now.
Yeah, I did that the last online con. I ran a method. I ran one of the things on the cyber papacy on the last version I had tested, and realized, wait, no, that's not what they do it anymore. Dang it!
It happens. So if we, if anybody's got any last minute questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat and we'll get them answered. You've been watching, I know you watched at least some of the WebDM plays. Greg, what did you think about those shows?
I thought that once they got into it and they got the ethos, they really started doing some fun Torg stuff. The 80s slant was great in terms of sort of bringing up the action movie theme. Mm-hmm. So that was really quite enjoyable. I really like what JM is doing too. So mm-hmm. I'd say we've got 2 strong leads in that I watch those mostly for fun, just to see what's going on. I would say I want to see the Orrorsh one, because I think those characters, I think they're going to hit an interesting scary wall that they're going to have to climb over in the Orrorsh stuff. Mm-hmm. And it'd be fun watching their characters do it, because I think they can stay true to who they are and still make it out of Orrorsh. But I think that conflict, that tension, will be pretty interesting.
Nice. Yeah. So I asked Grant about what characters are going to play, and he said Pruitt and Shauna are going to play or continue to play their characters. So Pruitt was playing Salvo, who was like an ex-American Gladiators character.
Right.
And then Shauna, I think she was playing the. Oh no, what was she playing? I can't remember. She was not. I don't think she was the Isle cowboy.
Which one was? I'm trying to remember which one Shauna was.
But it sounds like they are.
Yeah.
They're going to stick with those characters, and then Maria and Grant are picking new characters, and I am encouraging them to play a couple of the Orrorsh archetypes so that people can get a look at them. All right, and then let's see. Gray March asks, when do we get a Torg board game? That sounds cool. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I could, jumping from Cosm to Cosm, get a world-spanning game. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I saw a proposal for one that Marcus forwarded to me, but I don't know where that has gone. So I'll try to chase that and see if I can find any more information about that. But there was one.
Want to expand and do more board games for all of our different lines. So if there's a good strategic one out there, because I like the strategic games the most. Mm-hmm. that has all of the cosms on it. That would be pretty cool. So I'd love to see that particular proposal and see that game come out.
Yeah, and sort of a tangent on that. One of the things that has me excited about the upcoming stuff is we finally got the Neocast machine in Siocast in Germany, and that's to me. There are two things that are cool about it. That means that we can customize our own miniatures fairly quickly, get those things out, and start producing some of the board games and strategic materials. But also the fact that just because of the way German labor works, it's going to be a blacksmith producing these figures for us.
That's correct. Yes.
That just puts it into the. We have a smithy. Our smithy is producing miniatures. Sure. I was like, oh wow, So that's those little things that make me happy. So I'm really looking forward to starting to see adding that. So I think that does increase the odds of a Torg board game.
Yeah, it's a great question. Thanks for asking. We definitely want to get something out there.
Yeah.
Let's see. G asks, any word on the Tharkold Gen Con 2019 PDF? I think that's on Daryl, right? Daryl wrote that or ran the page anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know he is busy with other Torg stuff as well as his Space 1889. So I know it's on his list, but kind of maybe further down.
Yeah, I'll talk to him about that. I thought he had it in layout the last I talked.
Yeah, I thought he was done with it and it is in layout too. I don't want to jump the gun on that. I think that's where it's at.
We did the dancing on needle tips, but then there's another one too. So, all right, let's see what else. Certified Torganic talking about the board game said maybe as a twist we play the High Lords.
Yeah. See, that's the game I want to play.
There you go. That would be cool. Or maybe it could be like what are they called? The asymmetric games where so some people play the High Lords, some people play the Storm Knights. Yeah, that'd be cool. Padre, thanks for the subscription. Padre has subscribed to our Twitch for 5 months now. So thanks for that.
Awesome, thank you.
And he says, I've been telling myself to make a Torg miniatures game in the Infiniverse. That would be cool too. Some Gospel.
Yes.
Start it there.
I'm seeing tons of games here. That's awesome. And G says, can we get pre-painted miniatures? I suck at painting them.
Well, that's not the goal at the moment, but we might find a way to make that happen. But that's a whole can of worms there.
Yeah, it's a whole other thing. Yeah, right. Cool. Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up for us today. Do you have any last comments on Orrorsh or the crowdfunding or anything you want to tell fans, Greg?
I'm looking forward to seeing them at the convention this weekend.
Definitely.
So,
once again, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific time, we'll be having another Orrorsh and crowdfunding panel. So thanks, everybody, for watching Ulysses World Show. If you'd like to chat more with Ulysses folks or other fans, please check out our Discord community. If you like the show, please follow and subscribe to our channels on YouTube and Twitch and turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything. So for Ulysses Spiel, I'm Robert Adichie, and this is Tim Brown and Greg Gorden. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
Come back next week on Thursday, February 4th at 9 a.m. Pacific for more Ulysses Worlds news. Bye.